Hello, and welcome to the Here to Uplift podcast, where we center the stories of impactful changemakers, entrepreneurs, and community leaders who have done the hard work of uplifting themselves through adversity to get where they are today, and now uplift others along the way in their journeys. I'm Lolo Fisher, your host, lover of all things wellness, healing, and empowerment, and I would greatly appreciate if you show us your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing this podcast with others. Let's get into it. Perfect. Okay. Welcome, y'all, to the Here to Uplift podcast. I'm Lolo, and I'm here with my special guest, Nneka Jenkins. I'm super excited for this because this is actually our first time meeting in person, although we've interacted on social media a few times. So a lot of what y'all are hearing, I am learning for the first time, too. So, Nneka, you want to start by introducing yourself and what you do a little bit?
Yes. First of all, I'm so grateful that you even asked me to. We met on Instagram. That's just so crazy. So I'm very excited to be here. My name is Nneka Jenkins. I am a realtor here in the Bay Area. I have my own firm called Onyx Wealth Realty, and our main focus is just helping people achieve generational wealth and all that means, and I truly mean that in the depths of my soul.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know this, but the way I actually found you was through following Love Iguehi's page, right? So I've been like obsessing with her fashion, her clothing for so long, and then I think she like posted you, and I just saw your Instagram title, and I was like, oh, I'm curious now, and that's how it like led to all of this.
Interesting.
So, yeah, and then you gave me a hair rec, which I so badly needed, and I'm going back this week.
Yay!
To get my hair braided,
I love that.
So,
your hair's beautiful.
yeah,
You don't need
thank
it.
you.
But
Thank you.
no,
You're a connector.
when you posted that, I was like, wait, I remember talking around the side, and then I put it together, but I didn't know Love Iguehi, or Iguehi was the one that connected
I never
us.
met her though, so she's on my list too.
Yes, she is amazing. She's amazing.
Yay. Okay, so how did you get into realty?
So kind of by accident. I was in tech, and I was in medical devices, and I've always been the type of person to just do a lot of things, and it's not even like I get bored. I'm just like, oh, let me start this random business. Let me do this. Let me have 10 jobs, you know? So I was helping my husband's family, who they're born and raised out here in the Bay, and I was helping them a lot with managing their real estate, just like, just little stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then this is when we first started dating, so he would get mad that I was spending so much time outside of the house, and he was like, you're not getting paid for it, and whatever. And I'm like, it's your family, like what? And he's like, no, I know, but they will respect what you do. You work so hard for them, whatever, right? So he basically was like, you need to make it a job or like no. And his mom and his aunt Dola were both kind of like, yeah, we agree. So I had to make a business out of it, and I'd done that before with like other things. So I kind of made a business out of it. I'd like give them invoices. So long story short, I found out that to do property management, you have to have your real estate license. So my mindset, I was so small-minded that I got my real estate license. Nothing against property management. I still like do that and all that, but I got my real estate license to do property management. Never occurred to me, hey, do real estate, right?
Yeah.
Didn't even think about it, nothing. So I did that. I was getting my MBA. I was having another kid. And then I did this random training class, and they were like, oh, have you ever thought about corporate relocation? And so corporate relocation, long story short, is basically like a company hires you to help Google, Apple, Tesla type employees relocate, whether it's to rent or to buy. So I started doing that again because I was bored, I guess. And I didn't have enough
good at it.
Yeah. So I was just doing that, and then slowly I made a business out of that for like a year and a half or whatever. And then I got after I got my real estate license, I got my first requisition for a client to purchase. So my first sale was $800,000 in Redwood City, and I was like, this is not, I don't want to say easy because it's, it's not, but I was like, oh, this is easy. Like, thank you, God. So he opened that door for me, and I was doing it part-time. And then my husband was like, finally, after about a year and a half, 2 years of doing it part-time, he's like, you need to quit. And that was a big shift. Yeah. I was pregnant with our fourth child at that time. And he's like, you need to quit your job and do this full time. And I cried and had a nervous breakdown.
Home,
do real
family.
estate.
No,
real estate.
What job were you doing at the same time?
I was in corporate America full time,
Oh,
getting my
doing
MBA,
this on the side.
having our third kid, and then I had our fourth kid, finished the MBA, and then he's like, you need to quit and do it full time. Literally, I had a nervous breakdown, and I'm not being funny.
Gosh.
Yeah, so it was a big transition, but so that's why it was on accident that I kind of fell into real estate, and I have no idea how I didn't start it sooner. It's one of those things I got us out of mind. I didn't even think we could buy a home out here, let alone do real estate at this level. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so corporate America, what transferable skills do you think you were applying to real estate?
Gosh, so many. Professionalism, of course. Managing horizontally, managing vertically, managing expectations, project management, code switching. I don't know.
Yep.
But code switching, a lot.
Yeah. You know what? Let's jump right into it.
Yeah,
Code switching. We gotta talk about it. Because so I am getting into real estate myself. I'm working on my license, and there's so much to learn. But for me, one of the biggest challenges is the perfectionism piece of wanting to know everything, and there's no way to know everything, right, when you're going into a new venture. But I've been so curious, as a Black woman in, I'll say Silicon Valley, but in the Bay Area in general, doing real estate. What is that code switching experience like? Does it feel natural or forced, and how have you mastered it?
I don't think I've mastered it. I think if anything, as I learn more and more, I struggle with it and wonder if it's okay that sometimes, because I don't think it's something I'm consciously doing. Yep. I think this is who I am. Yeah. I mean, I was born in Nigeria, Africa. I moved to America when I was 4. Yeah. And this has always been how I present myself, how I speak. And I remember in early years, people saying oh, you speak so proper, as if it was a surprise. You know that whole thing.
Yep. I got called an Oreo. you speak, you're Black on the outside, but you speak so white.
Exactly. Yeah. There's just so much wrong with that, right? So it's not something I do on a conscious level, but I think people don't realize how much we, in a sense, for success, there is a level of conformity that happens, right? In whichever way. And so for me out here in the South Bay, where a lot of people that look like me are in the East Bay, I think sometimes I think people are sometimes surprised by my success. And I find myself having to make sure in the conversation that I let people know I have kids, because I sometimes present like I look younger. I find myself working in every time my brokerage has put my name on anything, I'm that girl that's put that MBA. Yeah, go ahead and you forgot that. Let's redo. So I think there's just a lot in interactions that you're constantly second guessing yourself. Yeah. So there's a part of me that I have to, it's natural for me, honestly, but sometimes I have to get into gear, right? Code switching sometimes, not in the sense that most people think of it, but for me, I talk to my team a lot about being kind of a chameleon in different environments, right? So if you're talking to a tech person, or if you're talking to a high C, high S, less D, or there's a couple or something, you've got to temper who you are a bit. Right. And so for me, there's the tempering who you are just as a human, but then the preconceived notions of what I'm supposed to present as a Black female.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting though. So I'm curious because I feel like I get the most pressure, especially when I was in college, and I'll say grad school in particular, because I was teaching while in grad school, teaching undergrad classes. And at the time, I feel like almost all the pressure I got from folks in saying you shouldn't temper yourself or you shouldn't assimilate was coming from other Black folks.
Totally.
And it was okay, but I understand the point of not changing for somebody else, or not, changing for the white man is you would say. And I was but it's not that it's not me. It's different variations of me that I can control. But it was so hard to explain that to somebody. It's still me.
I think that's what I'm struggling with more now. I don't think I ever put that much weight on it or thought about it as much as I do now, because now I'm teaching and guiding people on my team. Yeah. And there's one woman on my team. I love her dearly. She's been with me, I think, almost 2 years, and she struggles with that because I don't think I articulate it in the complete perfect way yet to encourage people to understand that I'm not saying change. Yeah. But I'm saying in life in general, you sometimes have to do what you have to do what you want to do. So for me, in the beginning, when I was just starting real estate, I modeled a white man who is still my partner and still a mentor to me, right? He was a white man. It wasn't important to me how he sang it and no, it was important.
Right.
How are you getting these people to trust you? Oh, you're making sure you know everything about everything.
Yes. Yeah.
How are you showing that confidence, even for situations that you don't know? Oh, you're comfortable saying I don't know, but showing them that you're resourceful enough to do it. So I think that for me, I'm realizing that it doesn't have to be about changing who you are. It's about, if you're trying to reach the largest audience in whatever that you're doing, on some level, show who you are, be this, be that, all of that, own it. But when you're helping someone with the largest purchase of their lives,
Right.
like maybe you temper some elements in that initial meeting with them so that they feel safe.
Yeah.
If I'm meeting someone for the first time and they find me on Zillow based on my reviews and what people say about me and all of that, and I come out, hey, like, because I can be that girl.
Right.
But I come out with all that gun swinging, you see a lot of, they don't know me yet. So maybe I have to, and this is, again, subconscious, but maybe I have to code switch. Sorry.
Right.
My mic, sorry about that. Maybe I have to code switch in the moment, or whatever you want to call it, to just temper so that I can make them feel safe enough to trust me and open up. And then we can, get into that.
And code switching has such a negative connotation, but it's really just adapting to whoever
100%.
you're talking to. Like, I'm thinking about even when you talk to a kid, right? You don't talk to a kid like,
that's a good example.
All right, can you go grab this, and then I need you to make this to-do list?
Yeah.
Like a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, you're not going to get that. But
no, that's
we
such a
naturally
good
turn to
example.
our baby voice so that they can understand us, they can bond with us, and I feel like whether it's business or just building trusting relationships is the same thing. Totally. Eventually, you are going to see the full me if you're like really working, and you might hear my slang, you might hear whatever it is. But when it starts, like, I will use my business voice, which really just means the business is what we're connecting on first. And then you get to know the layers of me.
I literally love that analogy that you used, because when I deal, whether it's my kids or someone else's kids, what is the first thing that you do, at least in my mind? You meet a new kid and you're trying to tell them something or whatever. You're 5 foot whatever, maybe 6 foot tall. They're literally a foot and a half. Get down to their level.
Where they are.
Meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
So, I love that. I love that example.
Okay. I'm curious then, in relation to this topic, do you have any stories, good or bad, in relation to reactions of code switching, or maybe when you had to do it and you weren't comfortable with it?
Gosh, I don't know, but I don't know if this will directly answer that question. Reactions, I think, more on my end. As I've gotten comfortable with, one, who I am, and two, who I am in this career, and I'm no longer working from a scarcity mindset, which sometimes is a survival tactic, right? You don't know everything yet, so I'm leaning on my mentor and just doing everything he tells, I think with that, I've just realized, if I'm in an environment where I start to consciously code switch and change who I am, I'm out.
Right.
And that's okay. And I'm still working through that that's okay, like I don't need that deal, whatever, because I truly don't. Like, right? But
it is hard.
God is my source. So as long as I'm keeping that as the focus, me losing that client, well, if I didn't have them, I'm not losing them. But in my mind, if I'm thinking, I'm losing that client, it's just creating space for someone else. So that's what I'm trying to, communicate to my team, in that it's not that I'm saying you have to. It's that if you're starting your career and you're not there yet, maybe maybe this is just a tool. And what I've also learned is the code switching that I've done subconsciously for so many years, that a lot of us do, it's also helped me learn how to be with different types of people.
Yeah.
So much of people are professionals these days are like, oh, I want my people. Yeah, that's important. You find your tribe, you find your people, and when you grow big enough. But on the road to get there, you got to know how to deal with other people, because here's the thing, I can choose my client, but I can't choose the realtor on the other side. I can't choose the seller on the other side. But when I gather information about them and I pull experiences from the past, it's easy for me to then say, well, maybe I should deal with this in this way, because I remember when I dealt with that personality and they had these circumstances, this is what happened. So I pull on all of those. So to me, it's like education along the way.
And I think that gets taken for granted so much. Like, that's actually a huge piece of why I actually value being mixed, like in my own life. And it's hard because obviously it brought some hardship with things. Like my parents were incredibly loving to me, but I had a lot of moments where like my white side didn't accept me and my black side didn't accept me. It's like, where do you go? And you grow through that. But that always made me want to know people of a variety of cultures. It made me want to know, like, how can I make sure nobody else feels excluded or like they're not enough? Yeah, and now I'm like, I didn't even realize other people had issues with that until... That's obviously young adulthood-ish and, you know, like growing through that. And now I'm like, oh, this is an asset, like that I'm comfortable talking to anybody.
It's a huge asset. I spoke at Stanford last week, and there were undergrad students in the room and graduate students. I don't remember exactly how they asked, but I remember someone bringing up, you know, that they struggle with not having more environments that look like them, and what would I do if that were me, and I am from Nigeria, Africa, and when we moved here, I grew up most of my life in Scottsdale, Arizona.
No.
Yes,
really?
The dichotomy, people.
I went to school at University of Arizona, so I know Scottsdale.
I went to University of Arizona.
Wait, really?
This is funny.
I really didn't know that. Okay.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to age ourselves, but I want to know when you graduated.
2012 with my bachelor's and 2016 with my master's.
Okay, you're young. I'm done. Okay.
We look like we're the same age, though, so
really?
you look so young. But.
I graduated 2008.
Okay,
Did I? Is that right? 2008 from
like
college.
One high school cycle away. We're close.
Interesting. Okay, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's funny.
Okay, but to say, I know what Scottsdale looks like, so yes. Yeah.
So I remember them saying, you know, these Stanford students are saying, like, what do you do? What's your advice? And it came across like it was a negative thing, right?
Yeah.
I get it. I love when I have an environment where there's a lot of people that look like me. I strive for my kids to have environments where more kids look like them. I picked their schools to make sure not all black kids, but multicultural.
Yeah.
So I remember answering that, and I struggled because I didn't want to come across like, it doesn't matter. But it kind of doesn't. So what I said to them was, listen, if the environment doesn't look the way you want it to, go create that environment. Go find your people, go create that space, go create that group, whatever. That's the first piece, because you need to get that. If that's what you're craving, you need to get that. But then I said to them, but don't underestimate the power, like you were just mentioning, of being in that environment that you feel is not ideal, meaning, and maybe in their mind it's, I'm the only black kid, and I've dealt with that all my life, right? But maybe you're supposed to be the light in that environment to other people. Yeah. Maybe there's things you have to learn in that environment, because the world is, you're not going to be able to create every single environment to be that.
Right.
And do we want that? Like, look at what it's a melting pot. So I remember saying that and feeling like, I hope this resonates and doesn't sound negative, but I think so much of people these days, we're so mad at what is, instead of accepting it, learning from it, and then go create whatever it is that you're desperate for.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's always supposed to always look like us.
Right. You know, I don't disagree, but I do have to play devil's advocate
Please
a little
do.
bit.
I love it.
I think there's a little challenge in it of, you know, I agree in terms of our expanse. And, you know, what I hear from a lot when I was working in higher ed and working with like students of color, what I was hearing is, I am already working so hard or so stressed or in such traumatic environments at home that I don't want to go to these places where I'm supposed to be growing and not feel seen, not feel
100%.
Represented, heard.
And that's how they felt, absolutely.
And that's how they feel when you can't see yourself or someone who looks like you. So, you know, it's hard because it's like,
I agree.
We shouldn't have to build
we're working overtime. I agree with you. In every environment, we're working overtime. We're second guessing how they're perceiving us. All of that stuff doesn't happen in most of my white friends' minds.
Right.
They don't even have to think about, how am I coming across right now?
Yeah.
Are they going to assume that I'm ghetto? Are they going to assume that I'm uneducated? Are they going to assume that I'm not married with all these kids that I talk about? All that stuff. You're 100% right.
Yes.
I think I just, how great would it be, though, if we turn that perspective into, let's go create it. And that's why I love, like, seeing all the spaces that people create, and then you can go be a part of them.
Yeah.
But instead, sitting there and being discouraged by it and kind of going within, like, you're missing the beauty that maybe you were meant to be uncomfortable in that space so that you can then grow
into it
and create something that other people will benefit from.
It's true. In those, like, tough situations, I think that's when you find out your real gifts.
100%.
Like, they blossom when you don't expect it, like when you least expect it.
When it's hard, when it's uncomfortable, like, we want to be so comfortable all the time. We're missing what creates grit and resilience.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, like, literally create it for my kid. Because, like, listen.
Please tell me about this.
Oh my God.
Because I'm curious. I'm like, I mean, obviously, like, viewers can't necessarily see everything, but your home
Thank
is
you.
gorgeous.
We worked very hard for it.
And that's what I was going to say. And I'm betting that you worked so hard to get
It was
here.
a lot of sacrifice.
And then, so it's like, how do you convey that hard work to children who are growing up in a place that's so beautiful?
Frankly, I have a cleaner sometimes, and sometimes I'm like, please don't come when my kid's here.
Yeah.
But the things that come out of my kids' mouths, you're like, and you're like, well, I did that, right? It's hard. My husband and I talk about it all the time because there's a part of me that feels that I'm as tenacious and as driven and as ambitious and as strong as I am because of my environment or because of my upbringing, good, bad, and ugly. And my kids, our lives are not perfect by a long shot. Yeah. But some of the things that I struggled with, they're not struggling with at all, right? The stability. So I worry that they're not going to have the drive. And you can't manufacture that.
You can't.
So I find myself sometimes wondering,
but you don't want to force struggle either. You want to do your best for your kids.
Like, they have struggles, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But, not the same.
No, not the same. And, like, it's hard because we're big on sports. We're equally, if not more, big on education. Sometimes in the sports, because we're big on, like, listen, you don't have to do all of this. Yeah. I did 5 sports growing up. My mom was at none of them. None of them. I won competitions. I went to state for track every single year. I was a dancer all my life. I did so much. Yeah. Okay. Clearly we're gonna be friends after this. I love that we're doing this on camera for the first time too, right? But I did so much of that, and my mom couldn't be at anything because she was a single mom doing it all for the 3 of us. And my kids know none of that. So they don't even know how lucky they are to do. My 5-year-old does dance 4 times a week and is going to nationals in July. You know?
Yay, yeah.
And literally everyone always asks, because she has dance competitions along the way, and I love that she's doing it because she truly does love it. But everyone after the competitions, they'll ask, did she win? And I'm sad because I always say, they've won every single competition in the past year since she's been competing.
Wow.
And I tell dance moms, like, yeah, of course I'm happy, like, great, they're doing good. No, I'd love to see how I've never seen how she reacts to losing. It's only been a year. She just turned 6 2 days ago, but same thing with my son. Yeah. Now they're starting to lose games, and I love that because I get to see the different parts of him and the different the way he responds, and I get to build that character within him. Yeah. Like, one time my daughter was on stage after, and they won, but afterwards, and she was tired. I mean, I should have been a little easier on her, but other people were going up to get their awards, and she just didn't get to stand up to get the award, right? There's other people on the team, and she was on that stage looking miserable, crying, da-da-da. I was livid.
Like, you got to put that smile on your face, you hear?
But I loved it because it was an opportunity to teach her, like, when other people are succeeding and being congratulated for it, by no means are you worried about you in that moment, right? So same thing with my son. He won, like, he's only had 2 basketball competitions or championships they won. like, when are they going to feel, when am I going to see
it's like, good job, parents, for putting them in these right situations.
Yeah, I mean, they're so
and
young.
at the same time, it's like,
I want them to have the
the
resilience and the hunger.
But don't you think they will likely hear from your stories of resilience and hunger and see, like, because it doesn't go away for you, right?
No, yeah, you're
Here's
right.
The thing. So
good
like,
and bad.
When you were a
it's still in
kid,
me. Yeah,
and going through challenges and struggles,
Totally,
it built the resilience and hunger.
That's true.
But now that you've built wealth, that you've built this space for your family, that you're continuing to build, is that resilience and hunger gone?
That's true.
Like, they're going to see that in you.
I appreciate you.
You know, like, they're going to see that in you, in whatever you're doing.
It's very true. That's a good way to look at it. It's hard. If I'm articulating this right, I think I have success guilt a lot. Mm-hmm. So not only do I beat myself up for the success we've achieved, even though I'm very clear that it's from hard work.
Yeah.
But I beat myself up. I also sometimes, like, I don't know, I think I'm not very patient and understanding to the fact that my kids didn't ask to be, like, it's okay. They're fine. They're good kids. They're empathetic. They're kind. They're compassionate. And, they're not sometimes. So I as hard as I am on them, I'm 10 times harder on myself. And I think both are not great.
Why do you think that is?
Because I'm scared. I think I'm still a little scared of...
like of losing it, of the success not lasting, or
gosh.
I'm sorry, I'm
asking the right questions. I don't think I would have ever admitted that so freely, but when you say that, I think I still kind of am. I think that's what drove me for a long time, and I'm, my mentor, he tells me all the time, what got you here won't take you there, and it's so true. What's required of me now is very different than what was required of me then, and that's okay. So I have to rise to the occasion here. But I think I do. There would be times in the beginning, and sometimes I have this, but not as much, where every deal I would literally sit there and think, oh, I was so lucky, that's never going to happen again. Every deal.
Well, that's imposter syndrome at its core, right?
Totally, yeah. So I think now it's not that I do that on every deal, it's that I'm shocked that in my 5.5, 6 years total of being in real estate, 4 years full time, that I've consistently been in multiple escrows consistently. And that's such a huge blessing.
That's
and
I'm
humbled by it. I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
And I'm also terrified because, especially with how the market is now, there's a lot of people struggling. Yeah. And I'm not saying we're not seeing struggle. Things are different, but we're producing and consistently. And so I think I turn that into, well, this can't last forever, so you better figure something out. And so
do you have backup plans?
Oh yeah. We're fine. Even if I don't sell it, we'll be okay. But I think I used to have scarcity mindset 100%, and my mindset totally shifted, and I totally adopted abundant mindset, and it helped me grow and all that. And I think I have that, but now that we're done having kids and I'm just looking at the totality of our life and the responsibility, it's scary at times.
Yeah.
A lot of people depending on us.
Yeah, and I would say, like, I have been learning that fear doesn't go away, it just evolves as you like push through it. Then it's like, okay, well, that fear isn't the same, but that core fear is always there.
Yeah,
it just looks a little different in life.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, just to speak for my own experience right now, like with my first time being pregnant and, this first year of being a stepmom, it's like I'm learning so much wildly quickly, and the things that normally would bring me fear in my career are the same at its core in terms of independence, success, providing for everybody. But it was always like providing for me and my future family. And I'm like, well, now I have this family.
Now
and
you're like
I'm also in a space where I am blessed and lucky that I'm being told, like, you don't have to be the provider. Like, you don't worry about it. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, but then what am I going to do? And then I got to, like, what backup plan and this and that. And it's like the fear is still there. It has just evolved and changed with the roles that I'm taking on.
First of all, kudos to your man. Good for you. I think that's great because look at you're still doing so much, and I think that's amazing.
I'm a little bit of a workaholic, so I don't think it would be possible.
So it's not gonna happen, basically.
Not to work, but
yeah. My husband says the same thing. He's like, do you think you're ever gonna not feel like you have to work? And he used to be kind of annoyed with like the truth is probably not, but now I think he's like, yeah, it's just who you are. So he's so supportive with all that too, honestly. But yeah, my drive can be overwhelming and exhausting. Yeah. But I agree. Motherhood is it's a beast that I don't think I still fully grasp. Every pregnancy so I birthed 4 of them. We have 6. But the older 2 have been in my life for 15 years. Okay. After the first 2 that I birthed, so meaning my last 2 children, Onyx and Nico, I remember telling my mom, my brother, and my sister separate, like over text or call them or whatever, I'm never gonna say they weren't happy for me. But they were like, okay, all right.
You're like, this isn't the truth.
And it's funny because I was never mad at them, but I remember feeling like, wait, what? Because in my mind, I just wanted a big family. I loved a big family. I'm like, we'll be fine, whatever. I never fully grasped emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, and monetarily what a task.
This is exactly the conversation I need to hear, so tell me more.
But you're but you're a new mom, and I'm over here. I should probably stop.
It's like my partner's behind the camera, and he wants a whole football team, and I'm like,
that's exactly what my husband would say. So listen, I don't regret it for a second. And to be honest with you, my husband, if he were here, if he were honest, he probably would do another kid.
You have 6 total, you said?
We have 6.
Okay.
So here's
what's the oldest? What's the youngest?
23.
Okay.
Did I just lie to you? 22. Oh my gosh, she's going to kill me. 22. She just turned 22.
Okay.
And the youngest is 1.
Wow.
So
you've been working at it.
Like for real.
Because motherhood is work.
It's beyond work. It is the hardest job, and I don't do it full time. Let's be real. I have a job, and I do other things, and we have help, thank God, but I can't. Sometimes that's another, I don't have mommy guilt about a lot of things. I'm not that mom. Okay. But I have success guilt within the mommyhood thing of like, I have help, and sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What about, like, my mom is a single mom. My sister is a single mom. I have no idea how they do it. When I see single moms, like the dance moms at the studio, I don't understand. So I'm grateful, but it's overwhelming.
Definitely.
It's overwhelming.
Definitely. How old were your stepkids when you came into each other's lives? 8 and 4.
You're finding a way to tell people how old I am.
Just kidding. No, I'm kidding. I'm asking because my stepson's 11, and you know it is different. Like because even if you I've always wanted to be a mom, so it's not like I was I don't know. Like I was like, no, I want this.
Right.
No questions asked. But it is challenging when you didn't see their childhood to a certain extent. They're still children, but you didn't see how they grew up for a certain amount of years. Your rules in the house might be different than what it was previously, and that's been a lot of lessons for me.
I think the biggest thing for the stepchildren piece to like my own biological kids, because I don't even use the word step. Right. I feel guilty sometimes when I say 6 kids because I feel like I'm taking something away from their mom. Like, no, that's their mother birthed. That is their, that's her kids, but they're my kids.
Yeah.
They are my kids. My kids know them as their sisters. So the biggest thing is when I came into their lives, I was scared about the type of mom I would be, let alone stepmom, right? Because of how I was raised and the way my mom was versus the way my dad was, and I grew up pretty much only with my mom, I wasn't sure that I'd be able to show them the love the way in my mind I thought I had to and needed to and should.
Interesting.
And so I was terrified of doing it wrong. And, you know, I always loved them, but I didn't know how to show it. Because that's just a tough one for me. And then I think they helped me figure it out along the way because they're so affectionate and so loving, and so is their dad, that once I had my own biological one, I was like, oh, no, like, okay. I was very nervous that I would, like, break them mentally.
Really?
Yeah, like, not knowing how to emotionally connect truly and fully, and
Yeah, so is what you're telling me, like, in your own childhood, emotional connection looked different than what you do now with your kids? Okay.
Totally. I've never asked my mom, but one thing I want to have enough courage to ask her and make sure I can ask it in a way that she doesn't feel like I'm saying it in a negative way is I wonder what she thinks when she sees me with my kids. Because my mom did an amazing job. She continues to do an amazing job. She did it by herself, essentially, worked hard, and had a lot of challenges along the way. And I don't think she had the opportunity to show us in the way she probably wanted to, the love part, like affection. And I don't think she was shown that.
Yeah.
I didn't know my grandparents well. They were in Africa. They died when I was younger. So I didn't really get to know them well.
Right.
But I don't think that they showed it in the traditional sense we see now that it's like appropriate or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think there's one way to show it at all. I don't.
Of course, yeah.
But I wonder. She's gotten a lot more loving. She's more loving to my kids. And sometimes I'm a little like, what about me? Can we go back in time?
You know what? They say that though.
They so much nicer.
I was like, because my nieces are now, oh gosh, and I'm probably going to get their ages wrong and they'll be all upset, but 16 and 15. They're junior and sophomore in high school right now. Because my oldest brother is 20 years older than me. We have a huge gap.
Oh, wow.
And then I have one that's 13 years older than me. So it's like big gap. But I was, I think, middle school, high school time when helping raise my nieces in some sense. And in my mind, I'm helping raise them. They're probably just seeing it as like, you know, my little sister's hanging out with the kids. They're close in age. And I'm like, like got this big role and everything.
Totally.
But it was so interesting because the way my mom would interact with her grandchildren was so vastly different than how she treated us as her children.
Man.
All love, right? But the love looked different. And I'm like, these kids can do no wrong in your eyes. Like, no wrong.
Considering, I mean, she grew up mostly in Nigeria and then in London and boarding school and then brought us to America. Like, I wonder if she didn't feel like she... Wait, what'd you say?
I said I feel like boarding school could change things too.
That's actually a good point. I actually never thought about that with her, just her upbringing. But I think that, I don't know. I've never had the courage to ask her, but I wonder if she didn't feel like she had the space to be more loving in the way. I don't think she had all the tools to at that time, but I wonder if she just didn't feel she could because she had so much overwhelming pressure to provide for us.
What do you need to feel like you can have that conversation?
I don't know. I think I have to. I definitely let go of whatever resentment or bitterness I had towards her not being around as much. I get it now. I think it took me way too long. And that's also what I worry about with my kids. Are they going to like get it later? Like, mommy has to work, right? Daddy has to work. I think I want to make sure that my intentions are clear. My auntie Obi, taught me a long time ago, and I didn't hear it then. I heard it, but I wasn't listening. I don't know. One of the two. And it's always stuck with me, and now I think I get it, that sometimes it doesn't matter what you do, don't do, or what you say or don't say. What's your intention behind doing or not doing, or whatever you choose, whatever your options are. So for me, I want to make sure my intentions are to truly gain understanding and to not be right or feel entitled to how I used to feel about like the love I didn't feel I received. Because otherwise, what's the point? I might be doing more damage to her asking the question or more harm to our relationship with her thinking that I don't appreciate all that she did.
That's huge. That's huge.
So I'm still working on that. I think the kids just got, oh, no, it's Nanny. Hi, Miss Mugen. So,
Yeah, okay. Well, cool. So I know we're talking a lot about family, so I want to kind of wrap the little bit of our family sector up with any advice or tips you would give to moms who are maybe figuring out if they want to continue working or how much to work amidst family life as well.
Oh, it's probably not going to be received well. Continue working. If it's in your heart that you want to, I promise you there's a way. I think I see more instances where people regret that they stopped for a little bit and because they didn't feel they could do both. I'm not saying you have to do both 100%.
Right.
But if you feel it in your spirit that what drives you is work and motherhood, in my opinion, for most careers, I don't know, I haven't done all careers, I haven't researched it, but I think you can do both. And maybe it's you dabble in another career that's not as demanding just to keep that flowing for you. And then you say, I'm going to table my true career, what I want to do for a little bit, or I'm going to intern, like a lower level of it. But I don't know. I think you can. And I think what's the problem is too many of us that are doing both are not sharing the experience, the trials and tribulations and how hard it is. And then showing the good side too. Too many people are only showing the good.
Only the good.
And I hate that. We're tricking people. Kind of like how no one told me how traumatic childbirth would be. I'm sorry. Okay, let me take that back. Listen.
Little droplets of sweat. It's fine.
I'm sorry. That came across really aggressive. No. But
she's like, good luck, you know.
Listen, on one hand, I think that people don't because truly you forget. I truly forget a lot of it. But I think for me, like each of my babies were almost 10 pounds. All 4 of my babies were almost 10 pounds. And I had no idea because I'm naive in a lot of ways to things. Truly, like I wanted it so bad, I'm just going to do it. But I'm not like, Nneka, what about like your body? So having 4 almost 10-pound kids in 6 years, my mom, brother, and sister, their reactions were not, we don't want you to have more kids. It was, take some more space. What are you in a rush for? Like your body has to heal. So
has your body healed?
No, not at all. Not at all. That's a work in progress.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
We want the idea, and I'm not saying this drove me, but I think in my mind, I remember friends that were pregnant at 35 and they were treated like geriatric, patient. Well, they were called geriatric patients and they had to do more testing and just so much of that anxiety, extra anxiety that the medical or the Western medicine puts on us to feel like we're incapable of having babies after 35. So in my mind,
it's not true, but that's exactly what we're told. Yeah.
So one of my babies was after 35. So, and I felt that. So out of the 4 pregnancies, I felt that. But I think that not truly grasping that because no one talks about it.
Yeah.
No one tells you just how truly hard it's going to be. It's not about the bounce back. People look at the body. Like when I would talk about some of the issues with my back that I have or my stomach, people would literally just be like,
you're fit, you look
oh my
good.
gosh, Nneka, stop it, whatever. It's like, and so then I put it on the back burner to take care of myself because I was like, stop being stupid. There's people that can't get the weight off. You're done. So I literally put off the real issues with my back and my stomach, real issues, not just my stomach is big. No, I'm talking diastasis recti. I'm talking literally a fractured tailbone. That
oh my gosh.
I put off even seeking help for it, which caused more damage. And then I had more babies that caused more damage because no one would talk about it. No one allowed you to have space to struggle because you looked a certain way.
Yeah. So
that pissed me off.
You look like you're fine. I mean, that's physical and mental health, right? If you look like you're fine, people will not really even support if you're saying 100%. That something's wrong.
Yeah. Wow. And it's their own issues. So you have to then overcome that. So that was part of my big thing this year has been like, I am strong. I'm a very strong person. Mm-hmm. I'm very emotional. Yeah. I'm very passionate. I'm very emotional. So for me, I'm no longer wearing the armor of I'm a strong Black woman. No, I'm soft. I'm emotional. I'm soft. I'm emotional, and I'm tired. Yeah. And I welcome being taken care of. Early on, I literally would not let anyone take care of me, right? I wanted to be the one taking care of other people, kids, husband, friends, anything. Now I'm like, oh, no, I'm okay with it. I welcome it.
I appreciate that transparency. I'm curious, though, because I love these concepts of soft life, but I think I'm still in this place of like, I say I want it, but my actions and behaviors are saying that I want to be taking care of everybody else and not being taken care of. So I can't say that they're consistent at this time. It's so like, journey, what was that change or transition that allowed you to be able to say like, yes, I'm open to the soft life. Yes, I'm open to being taken care of. Like, it's coming my way.
When it was after my last baby. So he's 1 year and 5 months. I think it was when I finally realized I was done having kids, because truly after every kid, I was open to more. And I'm glad I was, and all that. But once I figured out like, no, I'm done. And it doesn't mean, in my mind, I thought, well, there's a lot of people that can't have kids, and I do want a big family, so I should be able to do it. I mean, the self-talk, the negative self-talk that I've got going on sometimes is hard. So just because you can, and it's a blessing, doesn't mean you should or have to. So when I came to the realization that I was okay with my family at a family of 8, I started actually paying attention to how I felt, which is crazy. I swear to you, like, I don't regret my journey and all that I've accomplished, and good, bad, and ugly, but I never stopped to like, literally, how are you feeling? So now it's kind of funny in my mind, but somebody asked me, I went to a hair shop today for this. Yeah. Someone came in, and actually they're a client of mine, but they've been a client of my hairdressers for a while. And she came in and she's like, how are you, Nneka? Good to see you. And I was like, tired. Yeah.
Just be honest.
No longer. Yeah. I'm great. I'm wonderful. I am those things.
Yeah. And
but I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm happy. I'm stressed. I'm blessed. I'm all the things. So I never asked myself it before. I was always concerned with other people. And on one hand, it sounds like it's like, oh, so noble of you, like you're caring for. Let's be honest about this. It's truly, there's a part of that is self-fulfilling, right? To be needed, then to help other people, and it satisfies the ego,
right?
It's codependency 101, but it satisfies the ego, and it makes you feel better about who you are, and makes you feel more capable, all those things. So I can sit here and pretend like it was always about other people, and a lot of it was, but truly it was me not feeling worthy. It was me skirting off the attention to be on someone else, but what good did that do? So,
but it felt better when you would be able to like help somebody, take care of somebody. Then you're like, then I guess I'm good because I was able to help.
Yeah, it meant that I was worthy. It meant that I was capable. It meant that I was all the things.
When you decide it comes from inside, that's where it changes.
So for that soft life comment, I'm a work in progress on that one, because like I post about it a lot and I make a joke of it, but the truth is I welcome the soft life. I welcome the soft life. But here's what I don't welcome. This is not going to be popular to say. So many people are wanting the soft life, or advocate and saying that, but they haven't worked hard.
So soft life equates to lazy life for some.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not saying everything has to look like work hard, hustle, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, if you say you want something, like I have a lot of people that come and they want, Nneka, oh my gosh, I just want to follow in your path, and great. What are you willing to sacrifice? Doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your sleep, you have to sacrifice your health and all the things that I kind of did. Doesn't mean that. There's other things that you can sacrifice on your path to whatever it is you want, because truly greatness comes with a tremendous amount of sacrifice. It just does. So when I see people that, you know, want the soft life or just are, I get confused by, you say you want to be here, but you literally have not done anything to work hard towards that goal, but you feel worthy of like, yeah, I just want to, you know, be taken care of it.
I see that.
I'm struggling with that.
Well,
see how
I
it's
see
hard
that
for me
because
to even
I get it,
articulate
because it's like that. I see this piece of like, there's this distance. You say you want this, and you're like, yeah, I deserve it. I act like almost like there's an entitlement to it, but you're way back here.
There you go.
But then the folks who really should be getting that don't feel worthy at all.
Boom.
Like, how does this make sense?
Dude, the entitlement. That's it. That's what I was trying to articulate. It's the entitlement.
And that's what we're scared of for our kids.
Yeah. Because,
like,
come on.
Yeah.
The entitlement is. But what you said is just really resonating, of just the people that have worked hard for it still don't feel that they're entitled to any part of the reaping of what they've sown.
Yeah. The mental battle is real.
Yeah, working through that one.
Real.
But I will get there.
Yeah.
And people will be like, oh, who is, the funny thing about, you know, everyone, you know, characterizes, she works, all that stuff. I am the hardest working lazy person. I hate that word lazy, but just, if I could just like be real, ask my husband, a good Friday night, I'm like, can we watch a movie here at home?
Movie and pizza, please.
Like, I want to chill. I love movies. I love chilling.
I mean, when you built a home this beautiful, I would want to be home all the time.
Yeah, that was the thing I really, for the first year and a half, and I needed that. I needed to decorate it the way I wanted. I needed to just curate the space, because what I realized was my space was totally messing with my mindset.
It does.
And in my mind, I was like, because we're realtors, we do a lot of remodel, we build houses, and in my mind, I was like, no, this is just a sacrifice, and like, da-da. But I was selling homes, moving people into homes, and I was embarrassed and would not let anyone come to my home. Not that there was anything wrong with my home, but it was constantly, we're going to do this renovation, da-da, and then we'd have no time, and then we'd focus on everyone else. Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
So when we did this, I think that's them. The kids are here. When we did. Are those my babies?
Hi, they're cuties.
Come say hi.
Hi.
Say hi. This is Miss Loma.
Hi.
What's your name,
cutie?
What's her name?
What's your name?
Kalai.
Kalai?
Hi, sweet pea.
Lily.
Okay, you don't have to turn it on.
I love it.
Say hi, Miss Loma.
Hi.
Hi, Miss Loma.
Tell her name.
My name is Khalik.
Oh, y'all are cheesy. You're cheesing.
It's Squeaky Cleek.
Squeaky cleek.
Oh, is that what they call you in school? Okay.
Graceful.
Okay, down. You got just
Graceful.
Down. I got just for you.
Your mom's killing it on this podcast.
You gotta come down, honey. I love you. Okay, I love you. All right, I'll see you guys in a second, okay? Oh, they listen.
Yeah. They actually listen.
No, they whenever they come home, we always say, you know, go wash your hands, change your clothes, whatever. And sometimes they don't listen. But today they did. So yay.
They're cuties.
Thank
they
you.
really are.
They're
Oh.
good. So this is my husband. Say hello. They are 7, 8 in a couple weeks, and she just turned 6.
Okay. Okay. So she said Lele, right? Lele's our dancer.
Yes, Calais is her name. She goes by we call her sometimes Lele.
Yay. How
She's
precious. I love it. Yay.
Yeah. The other two are at daycare, so we'll let them be there a little longer.
Just
2 more hours.
Just a tad bit more. Well, it's cool. We're actually getting towards the end of the episode, so I really just have like 2 more questions for you. We talked a lot about, you know, what the journeys look like and the advice to getting to this place of success, even if we don't even feel like it's that success place we want, because we might keep growing into it. Yeah. There's always more. But you mentioned that there are people who tell you, like, I want to follow in your footsteps. What do I have to do? So what would you say are like maybe those top 3 tips or steps to somebody who wants to achieve in realty and motherhood like you?
Model and match. That's the biggest one for me. You know, if you say you want something, find whoever. Doesn't mean they have to do it your way. You don't have a way. You haven't done it yet. So stop. Don't have an ego about it. Real estate, do not have an ego about it. If you really want to be truly successful and consistent and build a long-lasting career with it, find somebody that you feel is doing it well and you respect what they're doing it, the way that they're doing it, model what they're doing. You don't get to make it your own until you're consistently producing a little bit. That's how I feel, because that's how you stay consistent. You're not like, oh, I got to go find a full-time job and leave the business.
Right.
That's one, model and match. Two, yeah, you know, this is not popular either. Don't worry about the paycheck. Yes, we make a good amount of money in real estate, but when you're modeling and matching someone else, you have mentorship. That's not free.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be.
Right.
Anything worth having, it might cost you a little bit. So don't worry about the paycheck. Worry about the experiences. I learned more in the beginning from people at the brokerage or my mentors' deals that I wasn't on, I didn't make a dime on.
Yeah.
I was the one person in the office that would always be like, hey, Brett, I want to come. I want to come. No, I don't need you to cut me in. No. I just want to come and listen. So a lot of times when I'd be going on, even if it was my client, he would do a lot of the talking, but my client, the trust was with me, but I needed my client to know, listen, I'm new here. You're trusting me with the largest sale and or purchase of your life. Like, trust that I'm partnered with someone that's done it before. Right. It's a huge deal. Stop thinking that you can just get your license and because you were straight A and you're great, you're probably amazing. Stop thinking, like, real estate, every transaction is different.
Yeah.
Third, gosh, the third one, you didn't even let me prep this. No, I'm just teasing.
On the spot.
No, this is good. The third one, oh, I know. I think the third one is, I like to be an open book in my life in general. That's who I am, but with real estate. And so much of real estate, people hold their cards close to their chest. And I think that's so sad, and it's a scarcity mindset because people think that by helping you succeed, that means it takes success away from me. And that's just not true. That's not true. Like, your success literally has no bearing on my success. And truly understanding that and giving back to people.
Right.
So that realtor that's starting,
successful.
Yeah, there's so much out here, even though there's low inventory. Yeah. There's so much out. We can all be successful.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question on the personal side.
Yeah.
You have 6 kiddos you've talked about now. We got to meet a couple of them for a second. And I can already tell just in how we connected on social media even, and now in our conversation, that you are a connector and builder in your community, which means there's a lot of people whose eyes are on you.
Yeah.
But in the bigger, more meaningful space for what's internal, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want people to know you for?
Oh, wow. I don't know. Oh my goodness, that's a good question. I don't think I've thought of that before. Like, if I were to die tomorrow, what would I want, And I think that's what drives me, because I want people to know that I took care of my people. And yes, that pretty much means my husband and my kids.
Yeah.
But really my village, my tribe. So if we all focused on taking care of our tribe, this world would be so much better.
Yeah.
Because we all somehow have a little tribe. It could be small, it could be big, whatever. But if we're all really invested in seeing our people, whoever that is, however big it is, succeed, we wouldn't have the school down the street bringing guns to school, I just think I know that sounds so cheesy, but we gotta help each other out more. Gotta look out for each other. To whom much is given, much is expected. It's a lot of work, but it's so important.
That's big. That's big, and that means a lot. Okay, I said 2 more questions, but I have a bonus
question.
Oh
my gosh, go. I love it. I
love
talking to you.
Tell me about the tea shop. That's my last thing.
You
tell me about the tea shop.
I told you I did not want to say stuff because then you're going to hold me to it.
I love tea. So
you
I have
do?
to. Yeah. I
gonna do
literally
some
only
things,
drink
girl.
coffee in like really hectic seasons, but like I prefer tea most of the time.
So, we have, wait, what? Oh, I need to know about There's a tea shop in Los Altos.
But we didn't actually get anything. I haven't tried it yet.
So we're going together. You're not going. We're going. Well, you can come, but like we're going.
There was like almost, how do you say it? Like a Victorian tea shop, like where they had everything, like all the glassware and everything. And it was like, it looks so cute. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So,
I don't know what
first
their
of all,
tea is like
we're
yet,
talking
but-
about this after, but I can't do coffee. It just does something to my
Okay.
tummy, right? Some people, just maybe the lactose, like if I do too much milk or whatever. So that's my substitute. For me, it became a thing where because it's hot and the dainty aspect, like you were talking about, like the little tea kettle, all that, it forces me to slow down.
Yes.
Like
Tea is
forces-
it's like my morning routine to like
Well,
drink
you need
tea
to teach
and
me because I say
meditate
it's my
and be
morning routine,
peaceful.
but I'm not doing it all the time. And I wish that I'm working on that, right?
Yeah.
Because things get crazy. But if I could figure out a way, no matter how crazy things get, to always do that.
your tea time.
I literally have that the Smeg kettle thing, I have keep it upstairs just for
my
that.
gosh, see, I ain't even got that whole setup.
Oh no, we gotta talk. We gotta
don't
talk.
even have the whole setup.
But so for me, that's what that is. So the tea shop, now that you've put me on the spot, it's gonna happen.
Yes, it is.
I have ideas of the aesthetic of it, but I want it to be a space. See, I'm not giving until I do,
Okay.
I'm not giving it all away.
Tell
But
us
it's
why the
gonna
tea
be-
shop's important to you.
It's important to me because, on the journey, there's going to be moments where you're hustling, maybe there's a journey or time of rest and all that, right? I think hustle is important. Sometimes there's a time and place for everything. I want it to be something where we encourage the slow moments. We encourage the self-reflection. Like I want it to be a space where we encourage those moments to take place with a bomb-ass ambiance.
Yes.
And professionals there, retired, whatever. But that's so important, having
love
a
that.
space, having our space.
Yeah, and there are coffee shops with like similar vibes, but I have
Yes.
not seen a tea shop like that yet.
And then here's the other thing.
not the
I've seen
same.
one and I won't name it, but the tea shop that I have seen that I love the aesthetic of it, we'll talk about it after, they also had coffee and I feel like that's cheating. I want a tea shop where it's like literally just tea and we kill it in tea.
Yeah.
If you want coffee, go to Starbucks or wherever.
Yeah. There was so my favorite tea shop was actually when I was living in Tucson.
Really?
But they do serve coffee, but it was like, they're not known for their coffee. Like their coffee is it's imported, whatever,
Okay,
super strong.
okay.
Like my mom had a cup of coffee, thought she was having a heart attack. It was kind of funny actually, but
that's too much. Yeah.
but they're known for their tea. That's why
Right.
they're like, we don't really care. That's not our thing,
Right.
But it was the scented leaf. So
Scented
anybody who lives in Tucson that might be watching
We
this,
might
it's
need it.
still like I still get their text messages. Like maybe I'll just go back and get some
We'll
more
do
tea.
market research before the
yeah.
tea shop.
There we go.
Perfect. I love that.
Well, I love this. This is a fun way to like end it too, because obviously we talked about a whole lot of topics. So Nneka, thank you for sharing your journey.
Thanks for coming.
Sharing with me, but also to listeners, to random folks you don't even know who are going to be so inspired by you. So
Yay.
where can people connect with you or follow you?
I'd like to say YouTube, but I'm slacking on that. So Instagram, and then I'll take you to my YouTube page whenever I do that. Instagram, Homes by Nneka. If you go to my YouTube page, it's okay, but it could use some work, and I think I'm Homes by Nneka.
We'll work
there
on
too.
it.
Yeah.
We got it.
And it's 2 N's, HOMESBYNNEKA.
Perfect. Thank you, Nneka.
Thank you.
Make sure y'all follow her. That's a wrap. That's it. Thank you for tuning in to the Here to Uplift podcast. New episodes are airing every week with some bonus episodes in between too. So make sure you stay tuned by subscribing, following, liking, and engaging with us to let us know what topics you're most interested in and what might inspire you along this journey. We're going to keep working hard on our end because we are here to uplift not only ourselves, but our community too, and that includes you. So I can't wait for you to hear the next episode. But for now, do your thing, let's get it, and let's keep moving forward. Uplift yourself, friends. You got this.